everyone, welcome to my channel, Everlynn's Books and Tea. For today's video, we are going to be discussing the 8 books that I'm excited about that are being released between June and August. These are the 8 books that will be added to my new release jar for my TBR game. So I always like to have a little bit of a variety on here, and not always the most popular books that are coming out in these months, because I want to put some books in there that I may otherwise never pick up and read. So we have a mixture of some popular books and then some books that may not be as well known on this list. I've definitely read some really good books off of previous new release lists, such as the Bletchley Riddle, and then some books that I just didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would, like The Peculiar Garden of Harriet Hunt. So we'll see how these 8 books go when I eventually get to reading them. Hopefully they are all winners, but you never know. So let's get started with our list. So these books are in no particular order. First up is Heir of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray, and the reason I chose this book was both for the plot as well as for the cover. I absolutely love the cover of this book. I think it says a lot about what the book is going to be about, and that's what really grabbed my attention when I was going down the list of new releases. So all my notes on these books are on my iPad here, so if you see me looking down, that is why. So this is the author's debut novel. It's a YA romantasy that's going to be a trilogy, and the blurb says that the Red Queen meets Shadow and Bone in this explosive start to a YA romantasy trilogy about dangerous magic, forbidden love, and a cutthroat competition for the throne. In an empire where crowns are not inherited, they're won. So this book follows Blaze, who's a 17-year-old rain singer, which is one of the rare groups of water wielders, but she was born into one of the most well-known fire-wielding families. When she was born, her birth brought a devastating storm that killed thousands, and she's been hidden away ever since, both reviled and feared, though her powers now lay dormant. Then she and her twin brother Flint get an unexpected invitation to compete in the Choosing Rights, which is the trials that determine the future rulers of the empire. And as she starts to go through her magical training, she finds she has to balance vengeful opponents with rival suitors, including the handsome crown prince, Halden Castellan, and his mysterious earth-wielding half-brother, Fox Calloway. And Blaze finds that through her strong powers, this throne may be in her grasp, but in order to claim it, she'll have to leave behind the stories others have told about her and find the courage to write her own. So you got trials, you got the romantasy with the 2 half-brothers, and I'm just interested to see where this trilogy is going to go. Laura Stephen, the author of Our Infinite Fates, says of this book, bears all the hallmarks of addictive YA fantasy, perilous trials, elemental magic, court intrigue, epic twists, and an electrifying romance, with a stepping into your power character arc that will make readers stand up and cheer. So I'm excited for this book. I can't wait to see when it will end up on my TBR, but it is coming out in the beginning of next month, so don't have too long to wait. All right, then for our second book, we're switching into the contemporary romance genre, and the book is Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady. The reason I chose this is I just love romances that have to do with books or bookstores or librarians, anything like that. And I find that they're usually a pretty good read. So this book is also coming out June 3rd. It was written by Ali Brady, and Ali Brady is actually the pen writing name for 2 best friends, Allison Hammer and Brady Godfrey. Allison is an advertising creative director and Brady is a doctor. And the blurb is, rivalry and romance spark when 2 bookstore managers who are opposites in every way find themselves competing for the same position. So this book follows Josie and Ryan, and as the blurb says, they are complete opposites. Josie's store focuses on serious literature, and she is a very efficient and detail-oriented person, while Ryan's store there's a storm here now, so hopefully we'll be able to get this done. So if you hear thunder in the background, that's why. Anyway, Ryan's store sells romances only, and he is more disorganized and easygoing. And one day, the owner of the stores decides that it's time to combine them, but there can only be one manager, which pits Josie and Ryan against each other now. And how the owner is going to decide is by who turns the most profit over the summer. So now we got this competition going on, and Josie and Ryan are in the thick of it, obviously, but the only solace that they have found is a friendship they've each struck up with an anonymous friend in an online book forum. But little do they know that they're actually chatting with each other. So Josie and Ryan realize not all is fair in love and war, and maybe if they're lucky, happily ever afters aren't just for books. So it sounds to me to be a great book to read in the summer, and I am definitely looking forward to this read as well. Next up is a book I feel like I've been waiting forever for. I pre-ordered it last year, and it's finally, hopefully, coming out on July 15th, 2025. The publication date has been pushed back several times, but the book is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and now it's pouring with rain. Anyway, the blurb for this book says, a whimsical and heartwarming novel about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. So this sounds like another kind of cozy fantasy with romance in it, and it follows Sarah Swan, who is one of the most powerful witches in Britain. But then after she resurrects her great aunt Jasmine, she loses most of her magic, ends up befriending a semi-villainous fox, and is exiled from her guild. So now each day of her life is helping her aunt run an enchanted inn in Lancashire, where she deals with quirky guests and just longs for her magic. She ends up finding a spell that could potentially restore her powers, but she needs help. And the help that she needs happens to be from Luke Larson, who is a handsome and icy magical historian who arrives at the inn on a dark winter evening and might just know how to unlock the spell's secrets. The only problem is that Luke doesn't want to get involved in the madcap going-ons of the inn, and no one else is more surprised than him when he agrees to help Sarah with her spell. So this again sounds like a nice little cozy romantasy book that I am looking forward to reading. I definitely really like the cover of the book too. I like the pinks and the greens. It definitely gives like a spring feeling to it, even though the book is now coming out in July. But I feel like it's a book you could probably read at any time. So that is the third book on our new release list. Next up, we're going to move into one of my favorite subgenres, and that is dark academia. And the book that we will be putting onto this list is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. The author is a fantasy writer best known for her book A Deal with the Elf King. And this book in her new series comes out on July 22nd, 2025. The blurb for this book is, a woman who wields magical tarot cards lands herself in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy in this first installment of an enthralling romantasy series. So this dark academia book follows two characters, the headmaster Prince Khalees and Clara Grayswood. So Clara has survived the underworld of Eclipse City through thievery, luck, and a whole lot of illegal magic, until one day she finds herself sentenced to a lifetime in prison for inking tarot cards, which is a rare power typically reserved for practitioners at the elite Arcana Academy. But then the headmaster, Prince Khalees of Arcana Academy, offers her an escape, but for a price. He thinks that Clara is the perfect accomplice to help him steal a tarot card from the king and use it to recreate an all-powerful card lost to time. So he ends up bringing Clara to the academy, introducing her as the newest first-year student and his bride-to-be. And as Clara goes about her days, she ends up finding that the prince she swore to hate may not be what he seems. But can she still risk giving him power over the world in her heart, or will she take it for herself? So there's a lot of intrigue going on in this book, and the author has actually made a website as well where you can sort yourself into the 4 houses of Arcana Academy, which are the cups, swords, wands, and coins. Now what each of those mean, I guess we'll find out once the book actually comes out. An author blurb for this book comes from Danielle L. Jensen, who's the author of A Fate Inked in Blood. And she says, a mysterious academy, uncertain alliances, and a unique spin on tarot makes the perfect backdrop for a sexy romance. Arcana Academy is magical from nail-biting beginning to shocking end. So the reason I ended up putting this on to my list is, one, it's a dark academia book, which, like I said before, I absolutely love. And it seems like, and two, it seems like there's a unique spin on magic with tarot cards here. So I'm interested to see how that all works out in this magical world the author created. So that is our 4th book on this list. So we're halfway through. Let's get to the last 4. So this next book is a little bit different than the books that we typically put on here. It's a historical fiction book, and it is Wayward Girls by Suzanne Wiggs. Suzanne Wiggs is a pretty well-known, popular author. She writes books in many different genres. The blurb for this book is a retching but life-affirming novel based on a true story of survival, friendship, and redemption when 6 girls come together in a Catholic reform school in 1960s Buffalo, New York. So this takes place in the Vietnam era in Buffalo, New York, where teenage girls were condemned to forced labor at the Good Shepherd, which is a dark and secret institution controlled by the Sisters of Charity nuns. This book follows 6 teens who are thrust into confinement at the Good Shepherd merely for being gay, pregnant, or simply unruly. And the book says it is a haunting but thrilling tale of hope, solidarity, and the enduring strength of young women who find the courage to break free and find redemption and justice. So a little bit different than the books we typically put on here, but I found the plot interesting, so I'm interested to see what I think of it. I don't think I've read any Susan Wiggs books before, so this may be my first. The only thing I don't like about this is the cover. I don't know why. It doesn't really capture, it doesn't really tell you what this book is about, but other than that, like I said, the premise sounds interesting. So we'll see how it is once it gets on my TBR. All right, next up is The 7 Miracles of Beatrix Holland by Rachel Herron. This is another fantasy book that deals with witches. It's coming out on August 19th. And I just love the author's bio for this, which is one of the reasons I ended up choosing it. Her bio says that she eats way too many Cadbury cream eggs. Love Cadbury cream eggs. No matter the time of year it is. She also loves to knit and reads way more than she'd ever even think about exercising. I thought that was just a fun blurb. Anyway, she writes a wide range of genres from mainstream fiction to romance and thrillers, so I'm interested to see how she does with this fantasy book. So the blurb is, most visitors to Scary Island see only its lush greenery, picturesque cemetery, and quaint downtown. Yet generations of local women know that on Scary, their benevolent witchcraft is at its most powerful. So this book follows Beatrice. Beatrice doesn't believe in magic. She especially doesn't believe the predictions of a celebrity psychic who claims that she will experience 7 miracles and then soon after die. So after this, she finds her husband cheating and she ends up fleeing to Scary Island off the Pacific Northwest coast, and immediately upon arrival, finds her life on the line as a rogue woodchipper blade almost kills her. Then after this, she finds out she has a twin sister she never knew about, and her mother, that she thought died when she was 2, is actually still alive. And they end up telling her that she's actually an immensely powerful witch who can commune with the dead like all local Holland family witches. Now, her family is actually locked in an age-old struggle for magical dominance with the Velleman family. And after her niece goes missing, she must join her mother and her sister to save her niece, even if she dies in the process. So Sarah Beth Durst, who's the writer of The Spell Shop, which is a book I absolutely love that I read last year, says, "This book is warm, witchy, and wonderful. This book is full of family and full of heart. I loved it." So another cozy fantasy. Cozy fantasy for me seems like they're either hits or misses. The Spell Shop I absolutely love, but there's been other cozy fantasies that I didn't really enjoy that much. So we'll see which end this one falls on once it comes out. Like I said, it doesn't come out till August, so we have a while to wait for this book. All right, we have 2 more books to go. Next up is another romance involving witches, because apparently that's the theme this month, and that is Love's a Witch by Trisha O'Malley. The reason I put this one on is it takes place in Scotland, and as if you watched this channel before, you know I love books that take place in the United Kingdom. So this is actually book 1 in a new series called the Scottish Charm series, and it's coming out in August 26, 2025, so perfect for the fall reading timeline. And the blurb for this book is a cozy romantasy about a Scottish witch returning to her ancestral village to break a family curse, only to clash with one stubborn warlock determined to protect his town from her haywire magic. So this book follows Sloane McGregor, who swore she would never return to Briarhaven. But as her 25th birthday looms, which is the day witches come into magic, which seems a little bit later than a lot of books, her grandmother summons her and her sisters back for one small task: break the centuries-old curse haunting their bloodline. Now, Knox Douglas happens to be the mayor of Briarhaven, and he just works tirelessly to make his town a haven for magical fold. And the last thing he wants is a cursed McGregor wreaking havoc, and it doesn't matter, he once had a crush on her. So therefore, Sloane has to go, but magic has other plans, and in Briarhaven, love really is a witch. So Sarah Beth Durst also wrote a blurb on this book as well, and she says, "Love's a Witch is everything you want from a witchy romance and more, full of family, small-town Scottish charm, and an absolutely wonderful cheese-loving familiar. You'll want to sink into this book and never leave." So again, it's a fun witchy romance that seems like it's going to be a great book to read in the fall. And hopefully it could end up on my cozy fall reading game. We'll have to see. And then last up is a highly anticipated book by many, many, many people. And that is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. So this is another dark academia romance fantasy book that's coming out August 26th. And obviously the author is a very well-known author for Babel, Poppy War trilogy, and many other books. And this is going to be her latest. And in this book, two graduate students must set aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. So another dark academia book. This one follows Alice Law, who only has ever had one goal: to become one of the brightest minds in the field of magic. And she has sacrificed everything to work with Professor Jacob Grimes at Cambridge. He's the greatest magician in the world. That is, until he dies in a magical accident that could possibly be Alice's fault. So Grimes is now in hell, and she's going to go in after him because his recommendation could hold her very future, and not even death is going to stop the pursuit of her dreams. And nor will the fact that her rival, Peter Murdoch, has come to the same conclusion. So I'm definitely interested to see where the author takes this book. It definitely has an engaging premise that makes me want to read it. So I'm excited for this one to come out, even though it's 3 months away. But it also sounds like a perfect fall book as well, with that dark academia, people going to hell kind of vibe to it. So two well-known dark academia authors have also written a blurb for this book. First up is Olive E. Blake, and she says Catabasis is a formidable, timeless work destined to be a modern classic. And then Lee Bardugo, the author of The Ninth House, says, rich with illusion and illusion, Kuang crafts a witty, gory, harrowing ride that thoroughly roasts the perils and power structures of academia, while never losing sight of what it means to have a fragile human heart. And that completes our reading list for the summer new releases. I'm excited about all of them. I think we have a good mix. We have some historical fiction, we have some romance, and then we do have a lot of fantasy, but that's my favorite genre, so that's no surprise there. And of the fantasy, we do have a good mix of subgenres in there. We got some dark academia, some cozy fantasy, and some romantasy. So I can't wait to see when these books end up on my TBR and getting around to reading them. Please let me know what books you're excited about that are coming out in the next couple of months, and if any of these caught your eye as well. I think that's all I have for this video. Next week, I will be releasing my spring edition of my cozy reading game. I'm super excited about all the book options that are on there, and I can't wait to see which ones I end up reading. I hope everyone's TBRs are going well and everyone's enjoying their May. We've had a lot of rain so far this May, which is fine. I love, reading in the storms. But hopefully we'll get some sunny weather soon. If you want to see future videos by me, including seeing how my cozy reading game spring edition goes, please hit the subscribe button. And other than that, I hope everyone's doing well in their May TBR, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.